thought my biggest college rival hated me. Turns out she had a crush on me. I'm 22, and if you had told me 3 years ago that I'd end up dating Emily, I would have laughed in your face. Because Emily wasn't just someone I disliked. She was my rival. We met during our freshman year at a university in Colorado. We were both journalism majors, both competing for the same internships, the same scholarships, and somehow always ending up in the same classes. If I got an A, she'd get an A+. If I published an article in the student newspaper, she'd publish too. And worst of all, she always looked annoyingly happy about it. I was convinced she secretly enjoyed driving me crazy. One afternoon, our professor assigned a semester-long project and randomly paired us together. Guess who I got? Emily. Of course, I seriously considered dropping the class. Instead, I suffered through it. At first, every meeting felt like a competition. Every discussion turned into an argument. Every text message sounded passive-aggressive. Then something weird happened. The more time I spent with her, the more cracks I noticed in the image I'd created of her. She wasn't arrogant. She was nervous. She wasn't showing off. She just worked incredibly hard because she was terrified of failing. And the girl who always seemed confident, she carried anxiety medication in her backpack. The girl who looked like she had everything figured out, she called her mom almost every night because she felt homesick. One evening, we were working late in the library when a snowstorm hit. Campus shut down. Neither of us had a car, so we ended up walking back to our dorms together through the snow. It was freezing. Our project was finished. For the first time in months, we weren't arguing. We were just talking about our families, our dreams, the things we were afraid of. At one point, Emily stopped walking and looked up at the snow falling under a streetlight. Then she smiled. Do you ever wish life would slow down for a minute? I don't know why that moment stuck with me, but it did. Because for the first time, I wasn't looking at my rival. I was looking at her, and that terrified me. Over the next few months, we became friends. Real friends. The kind who sent memes at 2 a.m. The kind who grabbed coffee together before class. The kind who knew exactly when something was wrong. Then came the night everything changed. We had just won an award for our project. A group of us went out to celebrate. Hours later, everyone else left. It was just me and Emily sitting on a rooftop overlooking the city. The conversation slowed. Neither of us spoke for a while. Then she quietly said, "Can I tell you something?" I nodded. She looked nervous. More nervous than I'd ever seen her. "I had a crush on you during our first semester." I stared at her, certain I'd heard wrong. "What?" She laughed awkwardly. "Yeah, before you started hating me." I nearly choked. "Emily, I hated you because I thought you hated me." For a second, we just stared at each other. Then we both started laughing. Years of misunderstandings. All because two girls were too stubborn to talk honestly. A few moments later, the laughter faded. Neither of us looked away. And then she kissed me. It wasn't dramatic. No movie soundtrack. No fireworks. Just a soft kiss under a cold night sky. And somehow it felt more perfect than anything I'd ever imagined. We've been together for 2 years now. Last month, while cleaning our apartment, I found the very first paper we worked on together. Across the top, Emily had written a note I'd never noticed before. Tiny handwriting in the corner. It said, "I hope one day you'll stop trying to beat me long enough to let me take you to dinner." I laughed so hard I cried. Then I walked into the living room and asked why she'd waited so long. She smiled and said, "Because some stories take a while to get to the good part. And honestly, I think ours was worth the wait."